Yo, what's good? So in recent years, Jorge Linares has made a believer out of me. In that fight against Kevin Mitchell, he was down and came back to stop Kevin Mitchell, cut his face off, cut his face up, almost cut it off, man. Those cuts were nasty, and gave a performance of a lifetime against Anthony Crolla in a fight where I saw many people believe that he was gonna lose that fight. When I found out it was Crolla and not Crolla, I was like, all right, this guy's not Mexican. Linares only loses to Mexicans. He's not going to lose to Crolla. And it went exactly that way. And in these past few years, I've recognized Linares as one of the most skillful, fast, talented fighters that is out there today. And I would like all of you guys to appreciate Linares for his skill, for his talent, and his grittiness, man. This guy has been in so many good fights. One that I will talk about today. I have not always appreciated Linares this much. I never said Linares was boring or untalented. I just didn't like him. And this goes back to 2011 when he fought Antonio DeMarco. It was October 15th, 2011. And this was on the Bernard Hopkins Chad Dawson 1 undercard. Everybody has since forgotten that fight. I wish I could, but I was there live. I cannot forget Dawson slamming B-Hop down and B-Hop selling it like if it was Batista's spine buster, Triple H's spine buster, and he broke his shoulder. It's funny because he's dislocated his shoulder completely off the bone, and he still managed to knock out Antoine Echols. But yet he can't get up from a light drop that Chad Dawson did. Everybody was chanting bullshit and refund after the fight. It was, that main event was terrible. But what I'm talking about is the undercard. Now, this was my first live boxing experience. I did the whole 9 yards. I went to the weigh-in the day before, and I got to take pictures with a few of my favorite fighters at the time. Robert Guerrero, Ponce de Leon. I even got a picture with Chad Dawson and Nassim Richardson's. Very cool experience at the weigh-in. One fighter that was there though, Jorge Linares. He had a vest on, fancy vest. And, dress pants, dress shoes, and big old sunglasses. And it was me and the homie went. And we're like, oh, we're just taking pictures with everybody. We're like, all right, all boxers are cool. There's Jorge Linares. And we're like, hey, Jorge. And he just walks up with his head held high, like if he was way better than us. Now, at the time, he was being trained by Freddie Roach, and he was being hyped up so much. And what was especially being hyped up was his sparrings with Manny Pacquiao. And they're like, dude, I can only release pictures of the sparring because the sparring was so good. Why make such big hype about sparring? Sparring doesn't matter. But after that, I was like, man, fuck this guy. He's a dick. I'm going to root against him. The day of the fight, we went early, and it was a pretty good undercard. Paulie Malignaggi was in it against Orlando Mora. That dude, Dewey Bazella, that did 27 years in prison for killing a woman that he did not murder. So he was released, and it was a great story on him. And I got to meet him too, take a picture with him. He was a cool dude, very cool dude actually. It was his pro debut.
I would like to say, dreams do happen. You never give up hope, and you always believe in yourself. Don't let nobody tell you what you can't do. I want you to know you're one of my favorite. Thank you.
Oh, Luis Collazo was on the undercard against Freddie Hernandez. I thought he was done then because he lost to Freddie Hernandez. He got dropped by a body shot and lost a 10-round decision. That whole fight is on my channel, by the way. Come fight time, when it was time for the ring walks, Linares came in, and I was like, boo, boo. And then the dude next to me is like, what? You got DeMarco? I was like, yeah, I'm not a Linares fan. Yesterday, I was like, hey, what's up? Can I get a picture? And he was like, nah. So I was like, fuck that guy. Woo! Linares sucks! Gonna get knocked out, what? How he gets knocked out, man?
Here with DeMarco.
DeMarco all the way. You were there at the weigh-in? You were there at the weigh-in yesterday?
Nah, I ain't see. What happened?
We asked him for wanting a picture, he just left. I was like, man, what's this move? Get this, is gonna get knocked out, what? So not only was I rooting against Linares, I was rooting for DeMarco. He's of course Mexican, has a great story as well. Spent 2 years homeless in Tijuana, which is close to where I live, and just had a rough career, losing to Edwin Valero in his only other title shot, where, you know, Valero only had knockouts. Valero took his heart. Great story aside, I saw this fight way closer than I think it actually was, because I was there live, I was hyped, and I was rooting for DeMarco. So even though I had Linares winning at the time of stoppage, I probably gave him like 4 or 5 rounds. But watching it after it happened on YouTube, I realized that I gave DeMarco the benefit of the doubt in many rounds. Watching it on YouTube, watching it on HBO, I thought Linares was getting hyped up by the media too much before the fight. But good Lord, during this fight, I'll just tell you a few things these guys said. And it was Emmanuel Stewart, Jim Lampley, and Max Kellerman. Max Kellerman, he said he's the most natural fighter he has ever seen in the ring. Jim Lampley just said, oh, he has everything. And he would gush over him and be like, oh, look at that speed. And Emmanuel Stewart said he is one of the most fantastic boxers he has ever seen in his life. And when his KO that happened to him against Juan Carlos Salgado got brought up, he was like, oh, a first round knockout could happen to anyone. It could happen to anyone, especially in the first round when you're cold. And they were just brown nosing this guy so much. That's not even the worst part. In this fight, he was being compared to, I cannot believe this, Sugar Ray Robinson, Nonito Donaire, Oscar De La Hoya, and Roberto Duran. Oh, come on. And you wonder why people didn't like him, and it has taken this long for some people to actually like him again and recognize his skills. Because even then, if you recognize his skills as one of the most talented fighters in the world, you could not approve of this crap, man. Getting compared to Duran and Oscar De La Hoya and Sugar Ray freaking Robinson, please. The first round, Linares showed his class. He had way more class than DeMarco. DeMarco was a stalker, a slow stalker, a guy with power that came to knock you out. Not much skills, not compared to Linares. And after that round, Max said, I think it was Max, he said, no, Jim Lampley. He's like, oh, he made an extremely good fighter look ordinary. Dude, it's the first round. That's when fighters get warmed up. And I remember when I was there the first round, it was like the first 20 seconds. And some guys like, what is this, Dancing with the Stars? Everybody had a good choke on. I'm like, dude, it's the first round. Chill out. But on with the fight. The first 3 rounds dominated by dominated by Linares. Even the 4th round was dominated by Linares. He did have great skills even then. But at the end of the 4th round, DeMarco started to throw more, started to throw his left hand more, starting to let his hands go more. And you could see that he was going to make Linares work for it. He was going to make him fight in this one. And he made some hand gestures at the end like, come on, this is not going to be an easy fight for you, buddy. Well, round 6, he showed why it was not going to be an easy fight for Linares. He cut him at the bridge of his nose. One of the weirdest places to get cut. But that spot, he bled so freaking much from there. He bled so much. And then in round 8, he cut him again in the eye. And by round 9, he was a bloody mess. And by round 9, I had DeMarco winning 3 rounds at best. Already 6 rounds to 3. No way DeMarco could win at that point. But Linares was losing a lot of blood. And DeMarco was coming on. I think he won rounds 10. I think he even won round 9. He won round 9 and 10 in my book. He was pushing Linares back. But if Linares survived, he was going to win this fight. If. Bloody mess Linares. Heart of a champion. I hated him. But he showed so much heart in this fight. I cannot hate this man now. But then I did. So round 11, he got caught with the right. He got hurt with the right. And DeMarco followed up with a couple lefts. And he pushed him back to the ropes and just started pounding on him. And the referee comes in, stops the fight. Now, it didn't look like he was too hurt, but it was accumulation of all the punches. And he was being caught cleanly with those punches. And all that freaking blood on his face. Great stoppage. Linares just got on his knees after that. Very disappointed. But the thing I remember most is DeMarco grabbed the WBC title, lifted it up towards the audience, and I just lost it. Yeah! DeMarco! And up till last year, when I went to Vargas Salido and I experienced the Muhammad Ali tribute, that was the best boxing experience of my life. And that is why I will always be extremely biased towards Antonio DeMarco, and he will always be one of my favorite fighters. And as for Linares, it wasn't until 4 years later, in 2015, in his fight against Kevin Mitchell, that he gained my respect again. And it wasn't until last year, in his fight with Anthony Crolla, that I now admire him for his incredible skill, speed, and talent. One of the best boxing has to offer today. So I appreciate Jorge Linares today. I appreciate Antonio DeMarco for all he's done in boxing. And I appreciate both of these men for putting up a great performance on October 15 and making the Hopkins-Chad Dawson event not total bullshit. Thanks everybody for watching. Have a great day.